tell you when we're going to start praying. Anyway, he said, a quote from him was, "Sir, my concern is not," during the Civil War, "Sir, my concern is not whether God is on our side. My greatest concern is to be on God's side, for God is always right." Would you join me in prayer? Dear Lord, please bless our community, our state, and our country. We pray that you would always give us the guidance necessary to always be on your side. Amen. Okay, would you join me in pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clay, would you step to the microphone and give us the Republican Party creed? This is the set of principles that we try to use to guide the Republican Party and Republican candidates as elected officials. Please.
Thank you. I do not choose to be a common man. It is my right to be uncommon. If I can seek opportunity, not security, I want to take the calculated risk to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to barter incentive for dole. I prefer the challenges of life guaranteed security, the thrill of fulfillment to the state of calm utopia. I will not trade freedom for beneficence, nor my dignity for a handout. I will never cower before any master, save my God. It is my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, and to think and to act for myself, enjoy the benefits of my creations to the face of the whole world, and to boldly proclaim, I am a free American.
Thank you, Clay. I always like to recognize any elected officials that turn out for one of these. Is there any elected officials in the room? Stand up and tell us who you are. Please. I've never met a bashful elected official.
Allie Winter, City Council of Pickens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Floyd Rogers, City Council of Pickens.
Thank you for coming out tonight. Is there any... Apologies. I told them earlier to look over me if I got, because I've never met any of these folks before. Never. This is the first time I've ever met them, so I definitely have no bias or preference. I always try to remain neutral, but it's a little easier tonight because honestly I don't know any of you. So it's a pleasure to meet you and thank you for serving. Thank you, all of you, for stepping up. And be willing. Oh. I won't stand up, Karen. My pleasure to meet you, Karen, and thank you for serving. And as I was saying, thank all of you for stepping up and being willing to serve. Not everybody is willing to do that. So, I guess it's time to start with the introductions. Let you a minute and a half to introduce yourself to the people and tell them who you are, and just pass the mic down the table as we go. Yusuf, you go first.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Yusuf Kovac. I'm 24 years old, and I'm running for City Council. I've been here in the city of Pickens for about 15 years, and I've seen the city grow. I've seen, businesses come and go. One in particular was one that my father opened in 1983, and it's been, functioning for about 40 years now. And he passed it on to us now, so we've been taking care of it as well. So we've been serving the city of Pickens for a long time. And from my experience, I've seen that, business growth is very important, not just for the business, but also for the community as a whole. When we look at, integrating the community together and, the help that we've gotten from local residents who have kept our business alive for 40 years. So, I hope that you learned a lot about me today, and I'm looking forward to your questions. Thank you.
Danny Adams, I've lived here my whole life. I ain't gonna tell you how old I am. I was on council before for y'all that don't know, and I resigned back last August. I lost my wife suddenly and unexpectedly, and I knew my place at that time was to be with my kids and grandkids, and that's the reason I stepped away. But
to let everybody know the reason that I'm running is my commitment is to represent the voice of the people, not my personal agenda. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jeff Derrick. I've lived in Pickens approximately 30 years. I'm retired. Retired from mechanical engineering, process design. I'm running for council for one reason. I got involved when this issue came up with Pickens going with Greenville on water. And I started uncovering things that's really been disturbing to me. You know, a lot of people's gonna bring up questions about annexation tonight, probably. And that's fine, but, you know, we all got our tax bill here within the last, I don't know, week or so. And, you know, we got a tax increase from the city of 2.5 mils. I don't remember that being voted on. Of course, I don't go to every meeting, so it may have been voted on and I missed it. Fire fee, I don't understand. Our fire department's on a budget right now getting approximately $700,000 a year. I would assume that we have got the fire trucks paid for. They're in the city building. To me, that looks like, other than training, would just be for my time up. Is it? Oh my goodness, I got 12 more points to make. Briefly, I'm out of time. I want to repeal the fire fee. I want to repeal the 2.5
I'm sorry.
tax. That's okay.
To be fair, you gotta do something.
Thank you. I understand. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jessica Merrill, and I am a current resident of the city of Pickens. I grew up in Dacusville with my grandparents, and also in Hendersonville, Etowah area, North Carolina, with my other grandparents. I shared living with them, and I have always loved this area. And so when everyone in my family died, which is sad, but I moved back to this area because this area had always felt like home to me. And so I love living here in the city of Pickens. I love the charm. I love the small town feel. I love that I can run errands really quickly around town without stress of traffic. And I really enjoy my neighbors and the people here. 3 points of why I'm running. I'm running because I feel like we need better planned progress. I feel like we need community voice, and I feel like we need financial stewardship. Like he was speaking on the fire tax. We've seen people's fire tax go up from the flat rate of $131 to $1,000 a month or a year. So tell me someone that lives on disability or Social Security, how in the world are they going to come up with $200, $300, $800 more extra dollars a year?
I'm Cameron Rivers, current member of the City Council. I actually own Holly Springs Store up on Highway 11. Been there for 23 years and raised my family here. And all the rec programs and love Pickens. So my main platform is fiscal responsibility while managing growth. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know how Cameron and I got stuck down here on the end as the only council members, but somehow that was a very devious, random drawing plan. But thank you. My name is John McManus. I am a current member of the Pickens City Council. I appreciate everyone coming out tonight. I especially appreciate you, Floyd, for being here. Thank you very much. I ran for council last year for the special election, replacing Mr. Neely that had resigned about the same time that Mr. Adams had resigned. But that was unfortunate for the city and both cases, but I was asked if I would consider running, and I thought, well, why not? So I did. So here I am as a member of council for the past 10, 11 months, and looking to be re-elected now to a full 4-year term. So I hope I'll have the support of the community, but we're here to discuss ideas and debate things, I hope, and I'm looking forward to the remainder of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you all, and I would remind you, these microphones aren't that sensitive. If you watch me, you got to get up on it. And if you don't, people are not going to be able to hear you, and you won't be heard on the video. So you just about got to eat the mic. First question comes from me. And I'll admit I had help with these questions, because I am not as familiar with the issues in Pickens as I am in Easley, the ones in Easley, because I live in Easley. Pickens residents have expressed strong opposition to recent annexation proposals. How do you balance the will of the people with what you believe is best for the city? Balance what you believe is best for the city's future. And Yusuf, we'll start with you on that end. And next time around, we'll start with Mr. Adams.
Good. So it's a great question, and I've heard a lot of concerns about the annexation development, to be more specific. It's more than likely that they're going to be voting on this before election, and we can just predict what the decision is going to look like. Okay. So the best thing we can do is really talk about a plan for growth and how we can control the growth that's going to be coming in as a result of this development. As this is going to be zoned under the planning district, so plan development district, and I believe that that's a good way for us as a city to really grasp a hold of how this development would look like. So, that's the best way I would say that we can balance between the two, because if, this is going to be voted on, and as a person who's running for city council, if I'm on city council and this is what we have to do our best to address the infrastructure, address the services and traffic and so on and so forth. And from what I've read and what I've known, the developers have been cooperative for the most part. We just need to continue managing or controlling growth through managed development. Thank you.
I dreaded this question the whole time. I knew it was coming. But I'm going to say what I've told everybody when I've been knocking on doors. Growth is going to come. You know that. But you can control how it comes. You keep it at bay. But I hate to tell any man what he can and can't do with his property. But in the big picture, he don't never own his property to begin with. You don't pay taxes, I promise you won't own it. I've heard nothing from the DOT about the impact down there on how it's going to impact that area. That needs to be addressed before there's anything built or any agreement made. And the second thing down there that I've heard is the city don't have water rights down there. If the city can't get the water rights to that piece of property, it ends up in litigation trying to get that water rights. How long is that going to sit there just spinning? And that's questions I wonder. And I don't know. But I think there needs to be a whole lot figured out before just say, yeah, we want to do this. This is the way we go. That's how I feel. And by the way, the people has told me that I've talked to, right now, I would go with all the citizens that I've knocked on doors, and they told me they didn't want it because in the big picture, you're representing them.
Fancy words, fluff. My goal would be to represent the voice of the people. I don't have to tell you that I'm against the abuse of annexation. I can stand up here and make a bunch of fancy speeches. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to represent the voice of the people.
My thoughts are in agreement with Danny, and I'm going to tell you why. Annexation and growth are two separate things. Pickens is going to grow. We got property could be annexed up there at
high school. We got property on Highway 8 across from Walmart, 170-something acres. Developers are going to come in. What I would like to see the city do before even considering this is go ahead and update the ordinance. Don't let them build one house on a quarter acre. Maybe one house per acre. That's county ordinance right now. We don't need high-density development. Certainly not on that road, you know. That affects a lot of people. My thoughts are the city's jumping too quick on this. If I voted in, one of my first goals is let's revamp the ordinances on any development future. This is probably going to pass. Y'all know that. It's probably going to pass. We're going to have to deal with it. But in the future, if it comes at high school or Highway 8 or even 183, we got to deal with it. We got to deal with it now. We can't wait till the next developer comes in and flashes a bunch of money to the seller. You know, look, I'm not kicking Holder. I probably would have jumped on $700,000. But I would have thought about my community. Our citizens have said they don't want this. And I voted, well, I'm not going to tell you who I voted for, but the ones that are making these decisions, the majority of the citizens have voted they don't want this. Listen to the people that puts you in office. It's a no-brainer. Okay, I'm out of time again. Boy, I could go on talking. Sorry.
Okay, so obviously I agree with the people that say listen to the people, because I was part of the group that went around and tried to gather information from the community about how they felt on this annexation. When we presented that information to the council, and then a response was, well, it's not lawful, it's not held up by the law, your petition is not legal. It didn't matter that it was legal. What mattered was that you heard the people's voice, and 98% of the people said no, and you're going to do it anyway. So what does that say? It says you do not care about the people, you care about the money. And so if you vote for me, I'm gonna vote for you. I'm gonna work for you. I'm not here to make other people on council happy. I'm not here to make a mayor happy. I'm not here to make an administrator happy. I am here to work with them, but I am not here to be their friend. I am here to be your voice and to work for you. So as far as the annexation, you know, we learned in that packet that these aren't even going to be built all at once. They're going to be built over a 5-year period. So how's that more beneficial to the city? Because you're not getting all of that revenue up front. You're not immediately getting that revenue every single year. You're not even going to get max that revenue till 5 years later. So I don't understand that piece. Also, we sat here at the town hall meeting, or whatever that was, a council meeting. It changed names several times. And Tim told us at that meeting that, oh yeah, we got everything worked out with the water. We're good to go. Everything's great. But then we found out, no, it is not. So we have a person as an administrator that we cannot trust, and that is our first problem. And I hope some of y'all ask some questions about that tonight.
Annexation. I've heard that word. I've heard it a lot. I've been in many meetings for it, and anybody who's been keeping up with this, they know that I voted every time against it, and I've stayed with that. And I have concerns, the reason why I do that. Not that I'm really against annexation itself, I'm more against the concerns of the impact of that area, that number of homes. And so that was one of them. And everybody I spoke to, like Mr. Adams here, they were against it, and they talked to me about it, and I've had plenty of phone calls, emails, everything, and most people were against it. So I really think I should listen to what they're telling me. So that being said, I'm probably the only one up here that could say that, yeah, they're against it, but I've actually voted against it, and I did it 4 times. So, y'all and I hope you'll vote for me.
Thank you.
Okay, so balancing the needs of the people with the needs of the community, that's what annexation is partly about. And to that end, every situation is different. Every situation needs to be considered on its own merits. Annexation is a tool to allow communities to provide not just growth to the communities, but services to citizens who want services, who want to have, whether it be trash or domestic water or sewer. There are people who might live on 3 acres who might want public sewer. Yeah, right? That's a possibility. But they want that, and they may not get it if they're not in the city. They have to be annexed to get some of those services, and so that's how this particular situation works. But the situation that's in front of us with the Wolf Creek Road property is obviously very contentious, and I feel bad for the community that has been that way. I don't have a problem debating the issue. I'm for it. Okay, I voted for it. I'm going to vote for it again. It's unfortunate that we can't see that there's obviously a negative to some development, but there's a lot of positives. We're going to continue to work toward those things that are positive for the community, and that includes reasonable annexation and reasonable growth. And trust me, we're not on a range of just annexing things willy-nilly right now. I mean, heck, this is the first thing that's come up in years. And so it's not like we're just, constantly looking for things to annex. We annex because people come to us and ask to be annexed. So I hope that makes my point clear that I'm for this, and it's a good thing for the community. I'm sorry that everyone doesn't believe that.
Do we have a question from the audience? Somebody like to come down and ask a question? Don't be bashful. I've got another one here, but this is your forum. This is your city. Come and ask. Just be respectful.
I'm Pat Malarkey, a lifelong citizen of this community. I don't live in the city. I'm a quarter mile out, but yet I've been a part of things in Pickens all my life. Question number one to the new candidates that are running.
You only get one.
One
question.
It's one long question. Okay.
Gotta be brief.
On day one, if you are elected new and you haven't been a part of council, how do you honestly think on day one you can make a difference for Pickens? On day one.
Thank you. Very good. Ms. Adams, I believe it starts with you this time.
Go in the first day with what you learned out here campaigning, what people told you, what they wanted, what they'd like to see, and go in there and meet with everybody and get to the point of, okay, this is concerns I've heard. This is the problems they have. This is what they want to know. This is how they think. I want it addressed because I told them that I would do my part to see if I could help figure out what's going on, what we can do better, what they don't like, what they do like, which probably ain't much, and just go out and back till you get everybody together that's there now, get with you, and you all come up and address the problems that you hear out here around town, because you ain't got to go nowhere much, and you'll hear plenty of problems that people have.
Well, day one, in general, I would say organized, but if he's referencing day one as in our first meeting, I would definitely request that we do a forensic audit. That's where I would like to start mine.
Wow, I agree with you on that. That's going to be one of my points. We do need a forensic audit, okay? We still got money missing from the last audit. It's not much, it started out, 150, 180. they found everything but $17,000. Well, you know, $17,000 is a lot of money to lose. Or it would be if it's my bank account. Maybe not the city. Day one for me would be to, you know, sit in with council and tell them, like Danny said, my concerns, what the constituents are saying. But you're not going to get anything done on day one, Pat. It's just not going to happen. You can give your thoughts out there and where you want to see the city go, how you want it to grow or not grow. You know, maybe, hopefully, you know, and there again, remember, if you pick the best one of us up here, could be anybody, and we don't change council by one member, that one member is fighting 5, 6, including the mayor. He's got to vote. So that's not going to make a difference. And kind of like Danny said just then, you got to talk to your council members and people up there helping you make decisions. If they're against you, you know, sit down and talk with them. You know, a lot of them don't like me, and I don't personally care. I don't care. But we are all neighbors. Somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. But I'll go home when I lose, if I lose, and I'm still going to be your neighbor. Now, I'm pretty controversial. I'm outspoken. Facebook's got me in trouble, right? It has. Matter of fact, if I'm elected, I'll delete Facebook. How about that? Thank you.
I got 30 seconds again.
15.
15, I still got 30 seconds.
So I think that day one, as I have watched council, I have yelled and yelled and yelled at the screen. Somebody needs to be a leader. The council needs to understand that they are the leader. The mayor's not the leader. The city administrator is not the leader. The council that the people elected is the leader.
That's right.
And that's what I would want to establish on day one.
So I can't really tell you what will happen on day one because I've already been on day one. And I can tell you from my experience, what happens on day one is they hand you a handbook and tell you to go take some classes online, and now you're a councilman. And you have no idea what's going on. I don't care how much you know government or anything. It's nothing like you think it's going to be, and it's hard. But I've always enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it, and I like serving the people. But it's kind of like people would, you know, when you got a house that's got a sliding glass door, and you think it's open, and you go to, it's closed, you hit it, that's what's going to happen to you on day one, because it's not going to be anything like what you think it is. Thank you.
Okay, day one. Well, you're right. There's a learning curve when you get on council. There's a lot of state law that requires you to operate in a certain way, and vote in a certain way, and analyze things in a certain way. And by the way, Jeff, I like you. Okay, just I know other people don't, but I like you.
Anybody else?
Yeah. You know, we talk about, you know, forensic audits. Well, you know, we had this discussion on council, and it was decided that it wasn't worth spending $50,000 on a forensic audit to find a $17,000 difference. The money in the bank worked out. It's just that we didn't have it all categorized properly, and most of that was from before I was even on council, because the most recent audit was done for the 2022-23 year, and I wasn't in. It was Mr. Rivers. So day one, we continue to work on the issues that we've been working on. We continue to find meaningful solutions to problems in the city. A lot of things we do every day is just trying to keep water running and keep meters working properly and sewer lines working and trash picked up, and trying to keep the trash truck running and is constantly breaking down. So there are things that we do every day that council's involved in that are somewhat mundane, but yet they take council's involvement. So day one is no different than day zero. You have to be prepared before you get to council's first meeting to deal with the issues that are on that particular agenda, and you move forward. And so the first thing you got to do on day one is get ready to be disliked by everybody. And it doesn't matter how well you think you're liked before you get elected. When you get elected, you will be disliked. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna take the next one.
Yes, sir.
You got-
Wait,
Oh, I am so sorry, Yusuf.
They always forgive me, it's fine. No.
I've been doing these things for years, and you know, that's a mistake I make in almost everyone when you got a bunch of people. I lose track of where we started and where we finished, so forgive me.
That's okay, I didn't grab the mic fast enough. Well, I like to be realistic with the question. I assume when we say day one, you mean like top priority. But, you know, we have to work together as a team on council. That's what we are, we're a team. And we have to address, you know, follow state laws like balanced budget requirements, transparency requirements, you know, making sure we're doing things by the book, because that's what's important. That's another good point that I heard, which is it is going to be a learning curve. I've never been on council. My father has. He was there for 4 years. But things have changed ever since. And things will continue to change. So you have to adjust and learn. And I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to continue learning. I don't know everything, and that's okay. Nobody knows everything. But I will, you know, open my mind to learning so I can best serve the city of Pickens. And the objective is how can we translate, you know, needs into services and so on and so forth, and deliver on those services now and in the long run as well. So that would be, you know, day one, but day one is similar to day 100. I will continue learning. So yeah.
So, now it's my turn. You have a question? No, I'm sorry. If you got 15 minutes or so to think of one, so you think you got to put your thinking caps on and come up with one for the next time around. Okay, question number 2 from me. The city's water system and service boundaries have become controversial. Who should control the water rights, the city or the water authorities? And we start with Mr. Adams, or I'm sorry, Mr. Baker.
Yes, sir.
Forgive me, the man
I
who likes to
believe
cook.
I'm sorry, yes, sir. So that's a very interesting question. My understanding is Pickens Water Authority, you know, is in control in general. But to my understanding, is there a specific reference you wanted to use, or is this just in general for the water supply?
Should the water authority, the people that run the water services, or should the city be in control? Should you turn over your water rights and all the control of it to an independent company, or should the city be in charge of it? That's the intention.
Right, it's Bethlehem Roanoke with an annexation.
Yeah.
Like, right now, it's Bethlehem Roanoke, or the city's trying to take over.
Correct.
Should the city
So yeah, to my understanding, how that process works is Bethlehem Roanoke actually has first right of refusal for it. If they are able to supply the water for that development that has been proposed, and they are able to do it, to my understanding, they do have the rights to do that. Now, if they are not able to supply it, whether if it's, you know, not affordable for them to, you know, run the pipes or whatever, they just don't have the capacity, then to my understanding, the city of Pickens is actually second in line to take that opportunity. But I don't understand. There has been a concern that we're trying to pressure and force our way to be the primary position for water supply. I think we need to step back and wait our turn and give Bethlehem Roanoke the opportunity they deserve, which has been in, you know, our past agreement.
Well, if y'all recall, the city attorney sent Roanoke a letter basically saying you don't have a leg to stand on. We're going to take the water. Number one, I don't like my neighbors, and I got family that lives outside of Pickens in that community, and I call that a hostile takeover. If they can't come, I'm going to tell you why Pickens is doing this, okay? Y'all know how much revenue we generated off water last year? And this is 2023 budget, so I'm sure it's went up. Over $3.2 million, okay? That's a lot of money. I remember Tim and council agreeing that once we went with Greenville Water, We're gonna free up money to do infrastructure. Now, how many people in here can raise their hand telling me they're digging up the old water lines and putting new water lines in? I live on Ann Street. My pressure, well, I know you, Allie, I know you would agree with it. But I'm just saying, my pressure on Ann Street, right off Main Street, hadn't changed. I still get dirty water, as some of y'all still do. I disagree with a hostile takeover. I wish they would sit down, talk about it, work it out. But this is all about money with Pickens. They're not going to make any money. Their tax revenue off 142 houses at $400 a year is less tax revenue than they're generating now. And they have got to balance this budget. I mean, they got revenues coming in at $3.9 million and expenditures of $4.9 million. Where are they getting that other million from? It's coming out of some fund, or if they borrowing the money, it's coming from somewhere. You can't make payroll if you don't have the money. So is it coming from the water profits and we ignore the infrastructure? It's coming from somewhere. I totally disagree with this. Matter of fact, I would like to revisit, if I did get in, I would like to revisit, because this is what we were told by council and Tim, which runs the city, by the way. We've been told that we have an opportunity after we do this, after a year, to review it and remove from the system and go back. That's my thoughts.
Thank you, Jeff.
Jeff, if you looked at that contract, you'll see we will never buy our way out of Greenville Water. So just to touch on what Jeff said just a minute ago, so Greenville Water expense budgeted at $276,000, but the actual expense was $422,000, so they were over budget by $145,000. That, if you look at the budget, it's almost like that in every single thing, and I know this isn't a budget question, but you know, if you look at the budget, you'll see that the revenue is over budgeted and all the expenses are under budgeted so that it can balance. And you cannot run a city like that because it's going to run us into the ground. And so that is that's a major issue, and every taxpayer should be very concerned about that budget. So to go back to the water question, again, my values completely goes against my values to treat people the way we're treating them. The way we treated Pickens Joint Regional Water System broke my heart. Broke my heart. I talked to those men. I knew how hard they had worked on that project for 20 years to bring us water that we would control, and they sat right here and gave it away. Broke my heart. So we no longer can control our water, but we can take other people's water. So now we're going to get into the habit of taking other people's water because it's going to make our city money. Is that the way we want to make our city money? That's the question I'll leave you.
So, on this issue, I actually voted against taking over water at that time. My biggest concern with it, more than anything, was the concerns of litigation on that. I didn't want the city involved in another issue, and I was hoping that we could do more to work with them and try to work something else rather than just basically just taking it away from them or trying to. But our lawyers have and did do their work, and we as council have to take their advice, what they tell us. That's why we have lawyers there to give us their advice. And so sometimes you just have to go with what the lawyer tells you. So I am against the way that happened, and I hope it works out a little better before it's all done.
Thank you. You know, Pickens, Bethlehem, Roanoke, their systems used to be pretty far apart. They weren't close to each other, but guess what? We've had growth. Bethlehem, Roanoke has had growth in their district, and they've expanded their distribution to where they want it, and they have not expanded it to where they didn't want it. Pickens has expanded its distribution to where they thought it would serve the city best and the communities, and neighborhoods of our city. And so we have this situation. We have a challenge. We have a piece of property that wants to be in the city and wants to provide for a nice, very nice development of nice homes that will pay $1,500 or $2,000 per year in property taxes, among other things, other taxes. And that's not to say that they're being beat up. It's just, you pay taxes, right? So that's the way it works. And that's a positive to us. We sell the water, sure. The city has gone to, the city should have the right to distribute water where they want to, where it makes sense. And Bethlehem Roanoke should have the right to distribute water where they want to and how it makes sense. They've made a choice, and we've made a choice. I support the choice that the city council has made to continue to pursue equitable and fair distribution of water to the whole property, as has been discussed. Part of the problem with the joint regional water district has been, as was mentioned here, that they were working on a project for 20 years. And Pickens just got tired of waiting, okay? So the decision was made that the city was not able to properly continue to keep up with their water treatment facility, and they, am I already out of time?
Yeah, you done.
You know the rest of the story?
Yeah, you done. Wasted our time.
Okay. So, any decision we make on council we have to make sure it's ethical and legal. Okay? And that's why we have a city attorney, a city administrator, and we continue to coordinate with people who can give us that, information on legality. As far as which one we should go, right? What matters is, infrastructure. And as far as I'm concerned, I believe it's on the city website, that the developer is willing to invest into the infrastructure. So if that's the case, then, we really need to now make a decision on how we can make revenue through and realize some money through our water and realize some money through sewer, whether it's through water meters and so on and so forth. So any decision we make, we have to coordinate with attorneys, and we have to make sure it's legal and ethical.
What is he talking about? He's green on the feet.
I think each city ought to control their own.
Yeah, I said it. What is he talking about?
But I think it would be nice if each city would coincide with the water authority and everybody work together. That ain't gonna happen. But I think each city ought to control their own destination of water. This city, this one included. I'd like to know, with all the water talk that's been brought up, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, why was they not looking down the road and starting to overdo the plant we've got now, overhaul it, coming down this way and stay on our own and don't worry about nobody, do your own thing.
Okay. We have a question from the audience. Joanne Brewer, step to the microphone, Joanne. Lifelong Pickens County girl.
I would like to know your thoughts on revitalization of downtown Pickens. We need to do something. It's not going to happen if we don't do something. We need to be more proactive. And I do know of one person who wanted to start a business on Main Street and actually bought a building, but there's a holdup on that, I understand. I think we should be focusing on that instead of branching out in other directions. I mean, that's the most basic thing of all. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Jack, I believe it starts with you this time.
Joe and I agree.
I'm sorry, Jeff, I misread the thing from here looking at it sideways.
What'd you call?
Oh, Jack.
what you want to. Look, people in this crowd's call me other names, a little bit worse. To answer Joanne's question, okay? Yeah, we need revitalization, but what concerns me is before I think this city needs to move forward, you've got to get control on your budget. You can't spend $1 million a year more than you're taking in. You can't continue to keep taking money from these other funds, shuffling money. All they're doing is creating a smoke and screen. They'll tell you if you watch Tuesday night's meeting just how rosy everything is. I even said a year ago, this city's in a direction to go to bankruptcy if they don't do something. You don't take your checkbook and look at the balance and you got $100 and write a check for $1,000. We don't do it. Why does the city do it? Now, to be more specific with Joanne, we got 2 code inspectors now that should be able to. We got a lot of empty buildings still. We got businesses up there that thrives now. I could mention a few. I won't. I don't want to be partial to anybody, but that's going to take money. We need to address that. I just think it's not the time to address it till we address other issues of concern. We're still fighting annexation. We're fighting water. We're fighting a budget, and we're still spending money. I've heard people say they want a dog park and they want a fountain at the amphitheater, and they want permanent restrooms at the amphitheater. Well, that's fine. Did y'all hear Tim Tuesday night say their budget on just grass cutting in the springtime is running, it's astronomical. We keeping up what? 7, 8, 9 parks, everything from Bruce Field to amphitheater to J.C. Park to all the other parks we got going on. Doodle Trail. That's a lot of money we're spending. But I do agree with Joanne. The only way we're going to get forward in this town is to generate more business, but it needs to be smart too, and it needs to be done with the money we got to do it with. There goes that red card, y'all, so I gotta go.
So that question kind of goes along with one of the reasons why I'm running, that I feel like we need planned progress. Like we're jumping into this annexation, and we could do a whole lot right here in the city. And I hear about talks all the time. I've talked to other council members, and they've given me they've shared their ideas with me, and I'm like, that sounds great. It would be great for the city of Pickens, but time goes by and we see nothing. We see none of that. So where is that? So that's something that's part of what I mean by the council needs to lead, and they need to become a group, and they need to put out their ideas and work on their ideas instead of what keeps coming to them and hitting them and knocking at their door, and then we're just doing this and that. It's unorganized. And so I know that we have a lot of great businesses already downtown city of Pickens. I know of 3 more that are coming very soon, and maybe 4 more that are coming very soon, right on the city of Pickens. And so I think that something we need is some businesses with healthy food or healthy things to do in the evening hours. That's something we're missing. And I don't think our city's dying. I think that we are thriving in our own way. And I think that we can add to it. There's also there's empty properties, vacant properties, abandoned properties that definitely need to be revitalized that aren't Main Street strip, but that would bring homes. And these, I'll just touch on the annexation thing one more time. Those homes aren't affordable. $485,000 homes are not affordable to the citizens of the city of Pickens. So council needs to get in touch with with the people that live here.
So in revitalization, there's been I've had discussions and for that, and been to classes, conferences, and we're working hard on that. And hopefully in the future, I see positive things will happen. And so if I'm still on, I'll push it and work as hard as I can to see it get done and get it done right.
Thank you, Joanne, for your question. I think we have it right that we're talking about revitalization as if we have a problem. I don't think we have a problem in downtown. We have needs, and we have more work that needs to be done. But even as we just mentioned, there are many businesses looking to relocate or to open in downtown. Our downtown is obviously a very important aspect of our community. It's the center of our community. It's what defines us in a lot of ways. But you know, it takes, to do the things that help enhance our downtown takes money and it takes revenue. And I don't know where you're going to get it if you don't grow the community and grow the town and grow the tax base and grow the other things that the revenue that comes with that. You know, we're not jumping into the annexation. We've been talking about this thing for freaking years. And it's getting a little boring because we keep talking about the same issues, trying to make sure we got it just right. And I think we will get it just right. But we are not all the way to the end of this yet. There's still more to consider. Yes, the water is probably the one lingering thing that needs to be worked out. There's a plan for that, and I think it will get worked out. But we have businesses coming now. We are not over budget. We have a balanced budget now. We had a balanced budget this past year. So whatever may have happened in the past, I get that. There were some bad years in there. There were some odd things that happened. But things are moving in the right direction now. And this council continues to hold the line on spending, hold the line on a lot of issues there. And yes, we've had some missteps. We've had some mistakes. I mean, I didn't make any of them. But I mean, there have been some things. So I think I've got only the yellow card. Okay, so anyway, I don't want to, everyone has great ideas, and they ought to be heard, but not every idea is going to work. So we have to keep that in mind.
Okay. So I've heard a lot of people say that we need to work with what we have, and I've heard some people say we need to grow. I believe it's a false dichotomy to assume that we can only do one, not the other. I believe you can do both. You know, sometimes you even need growth to do another thing, you know. And so when we talk about business growth and why it's important, it's also important because it gauges how outsiders perceive us, right? If we don't have business growth, then we don't have people coming in. We can't build on tourism as well, right? So revitalizing West Main Street. We have the Lark that's coming, which is a restaurant that's coming on West Main Street as well, or on downtown Pickens as well. So we can talk about the quantity or the quality of business. You know, when we talk about the quality, we talk about exposure. We talk about equipping businesses with the tools that can help them succeed. You know, coordinating with the Chamber of Commerce. You know, talking about, you know, signs, neon signs that give those businesses more exposure, because that's what brings foot traffic to that business as well. So all this is important, and it's not to say that we can't grow at the same time. But yeah, thank you.
Revitalizing Main Street, I think it would be a good idea to meet with every business owner on Main Street, get their ideas on how they feel about it. And then check with whoever you want to at getting some kind of grant to help upgrade or freshen up or whatever they need to do. But I think that'd be the first place to start to revitalize it, was check with all the business owners and see their take on it, because they're the one that's got the business on there, and the buildings that are sitting there empty. Try to get with the owner of the building and sit down with him and see why he won't rent it out. Does he not want to rent it out? Does he want to just let it fall in? Does she want to let it fall in? And work with them, motivate them, and there's ways to motivate them and revitalize every bit of Main Street. But first of all, talk to your business owners and get their take on it.
So everybody knows, you know, me personally, I'm all about preserving, you know, heritage and history here in Pickens. do like the idea of focusing on what we have before we add any more. I know some of the council have said that they've been talking about annexation for years. Well, maybe you should start listening. I'm more of a feet on the ground type person. I do currently walk Main Street on a regular basis. I speak with most of the business owners on a regular basis. Not everybody. Some foods, are better. Some stores are my preference. Situation is, there are some companies that will be coming here potentially to Pickens, especially Main Street. I am personally aware of 6 businesses that are interested in opening on Main Street itself. Not everybody is aware of all of those. There are some other businesses that will be opening potentially in the city of Pickens in the near future. Sorry, I thought that was you beeping at me or something. I personally, I think we should ask ourselves, why isn't Main Street doing well? Is everybody truly supporting, our local businesses? Are we educating them, giving them constructive criticism? If there's something that we don't like there, or we would like to see, are we reaching out to them and letting them know? Plain and simple. I don't see a lot of interaction. There's also a big concern with Main Street and traffic and parking. And I know that's not an easy one to overcome, but it is something that truly needs attention. And I do know there has been a little bit of it addressed by the city, and I appreciate that currently.
Okay, does anybody in the audience have another question? No? Mason Simmons? Oh, you got one?
I have some from the people that filled them out before they came.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Mason. Mason Sims from Easley, South Carolina, another lifelong Pickens County person.
Yes, sir. So, some of you know me. My name is Mason Sims, and I'm the owner of the In-Depth Mason Sims podcast over in Pickens County. I've interviewed several of you in the past. My question for every candidate tonight is, what in your background leads you to believe that you'll be an effective city council member?
Everybody hear that all right? I didn't hear it.
What in your background leads you to believe that you'll be an effective city leader?
Yes, city council member.
Okay, okay. So, I believe that if I take a look at my work history, I spent 20 years working in ophthalmology, and I managed a lot of people. I also had a lot of patient care, and I grew a lot as a person in that position. So I believe that I'm able to relate to a lot of people. I'm able to have compassion and empathy and understand what people want even when they can't ask for it or don't know how to ask for it. And I am able to deliver because that is how I went through my work life. I also am a certified peer support specialist. So I did that just so I could connect with the people in our community. So that I could, because there was a homeless issue, and I wanted to know, how can I help these homeless better, because everybody is just complaining, what can I do? And so I went to learn more, and I spent several years helping others in that area. Also spent several years helping people with mental health education, because I believe a lot of the issue comes down to lack of services, lack of understanding of what's going on with them, and what kind of help they need or what kind of help is available. So I believe that I'm a steward of the people, and so I believe that would help me in this position.
So I've been on council for almost 2 years now, and I would like to think that I've been effective. It's been a learning curve, but I think best thing I bring to the table is, I'm an old man, I listen to people, and I try to work things out. Rather than going into a problem and saying, I've got my mind made up and I'm not changing it, I like to go to people, see what they think. I'll tell them what I think, and then see if we can work it out. And I've done that with almost every issue that we've had. And so I think that's a lot to bring to the table. I think Eli knows, he's been around the council the last 2 years. They've seen that I vote the way I want to vote for the people, not to just please somebody else. I'm very my old man when it comes to that, and I'm certainly not a yes man. So I hope it all works out, and maybe about 2 years, and maybe I'll get 2 years, 2 more. I'm just now getting my feet on the ground, learning stuff, and I'm ready to even do more. So thank you.
So, I've been on council now, obviously, for almost a year. It's not a long time, but it's long enough to know what you're getting into. But my experiences go back before that, obviously. If you know anything about my resume, my history, years ago, I lived in the city of Greer. I was on the planning commission in the city of Greer for 7 years. I was the vice chairman for 5 years. I was chairman for the last couple of years that I was on that commission. During that time, I also served 2 years on the Airport Environments Planning Commission, dealing with issues around the GSP airport. Moved to Pickens County in 2001, and I've been near city of Pickens for most of that time until moving into the city a few years ago. During the last 30 or plus 35 years, I've been in the property management world, managing real estate. The last almost 30 years managing commercial real estate, own company, managing commercial real estate. Each of those properties we manage are in their own ways complex businesses. We have people that turn over their business to me to manage for them at a profit. And we do that. We do it every day. We've had many clients that have been with us for 20 plus years. So my background has been in managing things. It's been in administrating things. It's been dealing with planning issues. It's been dealing with development. So the experience is there, but it's important to be able to think about these issues, each issue as it comes up, and understand what it is, and use your best, experience and brain to put to it. Thank you.
Realistically, I'm 24 years old. I still have a long time to really pad my background, but growing up and being immersed into the business world, my father had opened up so many businesses. Some have succeeded, some have failed. And, as an entrepreneur is somebody who takes risks. And I've seen my father take many risks. As a 13-year-old, many people spent their summer breaks going to the beach. I spent my summer break having to manage a restaurant, with a short staff. And so I had to manage the staff, cook, work on the register, manage the funds, and obviously pay people and make sure that we are lined up with and in the future as well with food orders. And knowing the ins and outs of the food service, it actually gives you insight on how business in general works. And so I like to use the qualifications of my father's business background, but now as well my business background as a youngster, still getting the torch passed on to help grow businesses here in the city of Pickens. And more so work with our staff and bring everything I can to council so that I can deliver on asking the right questions and going beyond just representing the people because I like the idea of sitting down, the way I've seen council meetings, you know, I like the idea of sitting down, debating ideas, and just asking the right questions and bouncing ideas off of one another. So, you know, those are all the backgrounds I feel like I could bring. Thank you.
I feel like common sense is one reason I could serve, because you can disagree with me, and we sit there and argue or talk or ever what you want. 15 minutes, 15 hours, I'll sit there and listen. But when we're done, the next day when I see you, I'll speak to you and won't treat you no different. The only way I will treat you different, if you say anything about my late wife, that will be brought up. Then I got a problem. Other than that, I have no problem with no one. And I feel like listening, I'll listen all day long. I'm easy to get along with. I'm laid back. What you see is what you get. There ain't nothing fancy. I'm as honest and sincere as I can be, and I always trust my heart and my good instinct. Whether it be right or wrong, if I feel that strong about it in my heart, I'm going that way.
Can you repeat the question just to make sure I'm not deterred by everybody's? I just wanted to repeat the question real quick just to make sure that I'm going to answer it.
I believe you wanted to know what your background was and how it would contribute to your job, and your abilities to do the job as a council person.
Okay, so more background, okay. All right, so so the situation is you know, I've wore work boots and I've wore dress shoes before in my life. Situation is I've done a lot of manual labor. You know, my back will tell you all about it. Also, how I ended up here in the Western Upstate is I actually represented a large national medical provider as an account executive. Very, very large company, and it was in reference to, you know, business development. Situation is, the city is a business. You know, not everybody does like to hear that, but it is a business. We do need money to survive. That is the end of it. But I do know that the people here, they're not worried about profits. They're worried about lifestyle. I've traded in my, you know, my dress shoes. You know, I wear work boots. I've got them on right now. You know, and I believe I'm going to accurately represent the people here. I've lived a lot of different lifestyles, you could say, and I know where I stand, and I know the shoes that I wear while I'm standing here.
I guess what I would bring, number one, I appreciate what Danny said. I respect that, like I do everybody else's opinion. But I'm a retired engineer. I came up in construction the rough way. I was a welder. I was a pipe fitter. After 20 years, I decided I need to get a degree in engineering, which I did. Became a mechanical and process piping designer. But it evolved into manager of projects, where I would have 10 or 12 projects going on simultaneously, doing the budgets, balancing the budgets, and not going over budget. I know I've harped about this a lot tonight, but this overspending that we're doing just don't get in. And respectfully, I disagree with Mr. McManus. Y'all can go to the city website. Don't take my word for it. It is. We are at this point in time this year $454,000 into money that was appropriated, which puts us on a path of where we're going to have to borrow money again or get money from the city, water, whatever we get it from. It's got to go in there. We got to pay the, you know, trash pickup and everybody else, the grass cutting, the salaries. I guess y'all make a salary. Am I running for money or what? No, I mean, seriously, I got a passion for Pickens. I love Pickens. I haven't been here for 30 years, and I'm almost 70, so it's only half my life. I moved here because I love the atmosphere. I love the small town atmosphere. If we change it now, we can't go back and rechange it. So y'all think hard. If you don't vote for me, vote for for one of these guys up here that's worried about the money they're spending. Look, a fire increase. As high as it's been. Where's the money going? You ain't gonna see a new fire truck, I tell you that.
He starts the next one. I got one that goes right into what he was just talking about. The budget came up a couple of times. I didn't write this question, but apparently somebody did that, she's sitting right there, that follows Pickens, the city of Pickens, in their politics and goes to the city council meetings and very conscientious about what goes on all over the county. So we appreciate you. And actually, she needs to give Laura a hand, guys. She put this together. This was all Laura. Normally, I'll just say this. I don't want to eat any of your time, but normally the Pickens County Republican Club, we don't do nonpartisan stuff. This is actually the first nonpartisan thing I've ever hosted. We usually focus on Republicans, but she insisted that this was important enough that we needed to do it. So here we are. This is her. Okay. So I'm going to take her at her word that she knows what she's talking about on this question. Recent reports have shown significant budget inaccuracies, including overspending and inflated revenue projections. What specific steps would you take to ensure the budget is accurate and transparent? And that starts with you. Cameron.
Well, thank you.
I apologize to them in advance that I didn't know any of them, and I would probably trip over names tonight, so please bear with me.
So if I'm thinking of the question, taking it right after what you're asking.
I'm glad we repeated it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of long, but I'll try to work with it. But anyway, so the budget is set for a year. Some parts of the year spend more than other parts of the year. So you could be looking like you're over budget now, but later on we won't be spending it anyway. It's kind of, it's like grass cutting, for example. That's going to go down to gas and all that stuff. So that's a little deceiving. Us being over budget right now. That's a very tough question because it really, it's something that we have to, the budget is very complex, and I can tell you that I'm hands-on. I'm in the finance director's office all the time asking questions. I'm very hands-on, and I'll ask any kind of question, and that's how I learn. So, and I actually question a lot of things, and I have voted against certain things. I weren't completely against the things that I voted. I was just more worried about the revenue and how we could pay for these things. So here we are now. That's where we're at. So I feel like we should just work as best as we can when we got what we're into, and see what we can cut back on to get the budget a little bit better.
Accurate, transparent, balanced, oversight, accountability. I understand these things. When you set out to do a budget, you don't know what the year is going to hold. You can only hope that what you're budgeting holds up to be true. So you try to be as accurate as you can. You try to be as honest. You try to look at what the history of things are. You're developing a budget. You're looking at the history of revenue, history of expenses, anticipated expenses. So this council has tried very hard, and that when I say this council, I mean really for the last couple of years, starting with the year that Danny was on council, has worked very hard to try to make sure that pluses and minuses equal zero. But the point of the budget is to spend money, believe it or not. You're supposed to spend money. You're supposed to bring money in, and then you're supposed to spend it on the its services and on the things that the city citizens need and demand. As Cameron was trying to point out, the city's income does not come in uniformly. It doesn't come in even amounts every month. We won't get much revenue until the taxes start getting paid, and then we start getting lumps of money. There are different things that the only thing that really comes in on a regular basis are utility expenses, utility income. It's hard to know sometimes. Okay, what if we have a bunch of people that don't pay their taxes next year? That's going to hurt us. We can't predict that at the beginning of the year. And another thing that's tough is that when you come on council, you're coming in the middle of a budget year, so you don't have much control over what happens after that. I finished.
Okay. So I assume, I think I've said this before, balanced budget is required by state law. Some ways that I've researched, according to the Municipal Association of South Carolina, how that we can ensure a balanced budget. When we look at monitoring departments to ensure that they're spending within appropriations, when we look at forecasting, when we talk about recurring revenue streams and one-time revenue streams, recurring revenue streams like property taxes or one-time revenue streams like boosted permit fees if a new development happens. So outlining the difference between the two and understanding that when we look at the past several years on how revenue and expenses have been outlined, we have to maintain those revenue streams. When we look at monitoring, forecasting, understanding the short-term and long-term fiscal context of any budget decision that we make, so we're not making those decisions in a vacuum. So there's a lot of places to look. Maintaining a balanced budget is not where it stops. We have to make sure that we also are in a position to where we have set aside money so that we reduce the need for debt, reduce the need for tax increase, and look out for unexpected disasters. So there are a lot of things we have to look at. So I'd say it goes beyond just a balanced budget. I haven't seen the numbers. I think a lot of that can also be due to the reporting. Staff I know use certain software. There's a lot of things to look at. But most importantly, monitoring, forecasting, and understanding the budget process. Thank you.
One of the best ways with a budget is don't spend more than you bring in. But that's hard to do on some things. But just like everybody said up here so far, you might be over budget right now in a certain area, but at the end of the year, you won't be. You'll be right on. And the main objective of the budget, you want to start out with what you think it's going to cost you to operate your town that year. Well, at the end of that year, when your next budget year's coming, what you're looking for is you're all good, or you're even, or you're truly good. And I mean, that's in everyday life too. Every time you get a check, you hope you took good time you get your next one. But there are going to be expenses that come that you ain't expecting. But there's also ways to cut out spending, wasteful spending. There's ways of doing that in everyday life, not just in a city's budget, a county budget, or anything like that. The main thing is don't spend more than you're bringing in, and you know roughly what you're going to bring in a year's time, and that's how you'll set your budget.
So clearly I don't have all the up-to-date numbers today. I don't know what they bought or sold. Situation is the revenue and expenditure statement that was ended on 6/30/25. I can just read off a few line items, and we'll talk about their budget. 130% used, 112% used, 93% used, 105% used, 153%, another 153%. And is, how are we so far off on the estimates of the expenditures? I understand if you're at, 97% or you're 105%, you can't estimate everything exactly. But some of these numbers are very concerning. I think that's probably what the question was in reference to. Another reason why I was wanting to push that forensic audit, we need to know. I know it's only some pennies they're claiming, but the reality is that's thousands of dollars. I know it's going to cost us money for a forensic audit, but we need to know where it went in order for us to continue and not go down that same road again. We need to learn from our mistakes. I do know that.
Budget, okay? These departments have a contingency fund. One of the members up here had mentioned about cutting grass. It gets, more expensive. Well, if they go over, they got a contingency fund. I'm kind of like Jonathan, and even like Danny here. Y'all can balance the checkbook. I know $5 million is a lot different than what I make, $10,000, $15,000, whatever. But my goodness, does it take a rocket scientist to put a calculator to understand what we're doing? You can look at 23 is the latest numbers we got from the city right now, and they're all out of whack. Now, what's 2025 going to look like? And why are they waiting to get that done? They're supposed to be doing 2024, okay? 2023 has been done. There's issues here. We keep increasing every department's budget, but we're not cutting anywhere. We need to cut back. I think we need to cut back. We need to get our hands on where this money's going. And again, I agree with Jonathan. A couple other people said that up here. We need a forensic audit. If it's not more than $5, I'll pay for it. But we got to have it done. The city's got to get it done. And we got to understand where this money's going. We're still missing, I don't remember the exact figure, I knew it, but I'm just guessing here, don't hold me to this. We're still missing $18,000 from the last audit. But nobody's trying to explain that. Is it going to the Waffle House with city credit cards? Is it putting gas in your personal vehicle? A forensic audit will supposed to show every receipt for every credit card or gas. If you got a fire truck uses $40 a week in gas and the next month it's $80, something's wrong.
So I'm sure that the financial director is annoyed with me, because I request the budget from her every quarter, and I have done that for over a year, and then the end of year as well. And so when you look at that as a whole, it is rather concerning. It's concerning because there were places in that budget where nothing was set for as an expense, and these were common items. So you knew that something was going to be spent in that category, but it had an expense as zero, or it was budgeted as zero. I'll just say one was fuel. So how could we have a $0 budgeted for fuel when we know we have to buy fuel? I don't understand that. So if you're a council member and you actually reviewed the budget and you passed that with a $0 in there, did you really review the budget? That's my question. So basically, I feel like you need to look at previous years to determine what you're going to do for the following year. If in the previous year you overspent in a category, I believe that category needs to be examined, and you need to understand why. Are we going to do better? Do we actually need to spend this money? So are we actually going to spend that money next year? And you need to budget appropriately. And we also have another council member saying that we did not go over budget last year, and we did by lots of thousands of dollars. So how can you be a council member and not know that we were over budget last year? We also have spent bonds and we're spending bonds. Bonds are borrowed money, which means we owe that money.
Mr. McManus goes first this time. And since we have worked our way all the way down the table with each person having answered a question first, this will be the last question. And then we will go to closing remarks. And this is a little bit of me and Laura on this last one, more philosophical than specific. The cornerstone of our country, I believe, is self-governance. There's a lot of times as an elected official, you have to use your own judgment because you really don't know for sure which way the public would want you to jump. And you can't take a poll every time you vote. But there are issues that you're well aware of where the public stands. Like 80-90% on the subject. You're well aware of where the public is on it. So the question is, how would you handle situations where your personal views differ from the majority of the residents? Simple question. And we're back to start with Mr. McManus.
Yes. Well, okay. So, let's appreciate that question, philosophical question. And I appreciate the comment that, we can't operate as a council by wanting to do an opinion survey every time we have an issue come up or take a poll. It's not practical and it's not meaningful. In the sense of actual governance, it's helpful at times, and I get that. But I've taken positions with issues that have come up before council, and I have apparently been in the minority of public opinion, at least those that I've heard about. And it's unfortunate that we always aren't on the same side of how we're thinking about things. But I'm looking at the issue, and I'm looking at what I know will be true about the issue, and what will be true about the issue tomorrow and next year and 10 years from now. And so, for those reasons, I'm often maybe I'm just not looking at it right, but I don't have a problem making a decision that goes against the grain. There are many times you're going to have to make a decision that goes against what people think. There were a lot of people that were against widening Highway 8 to 4 lanes years ago. They said it would be bad for Pickens. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody complain about it lately, other than there's a lot of traffic on it. And we haven't annexed anything yet, and there's a whole lot of traffic on it, and I get that. That's a problem. So we've got issues. We still have a lot to do, and there's going to be some hard questions that have to be made, or hard decisions that have to be made, and we'll continue to ask questions and try to find answers.
Okay. If elected, I wouldn't make decisions on city council based on what I want, right? I generally would make decisions based on what the city needs. And there's a difference between what the word want and need. So how do we know what the city needs? Well, we have to do deep analysis, and we have to make sure that the decisions that we make is data-driven, and beyond that, maintaining transparency, keeping an open line of communication with the public. So all of this is important to see what the city needs. Sometimes what the city needs is also what the majority of the city wants, right? And so it's very important to make sure that I'm not on city council because of I want to do things that I want. I'm not like a toddler who's just going to be making decisions. I want to make decisions based on what the city needs. That's what city council is supposed to be. We're supposed to translate needs into services. So, I'm a realist as well. I'd say I like to be realistic with any solution that I have. So when we talk about this annexation, or we talk about anything else in the future, notice how I didn't say that I'm trying to overturn this decision or anything, because I want to be realistic. I know that this decision is probably going to be made before election, so I have to work with what I have. And what we have is a team, and we have a plan development. So that's realistic. I'm not going to give you a solution that is not possible. So the three tenets, I guess: transparency, being realistic, and making sure that my decisions are data-driven and are based on the needs of the city.
What was the question?
How would you handle situations where your personal views differ from the majority of the residents, and you know that's the case?
I'm gonna do what I feel is morally right for me. I'll listen to everybody, but for example, if 80% of the town wants to put a drug house on Main Street, I'm gonna piss them off, because I'm not gonna be in favor of it. It's just that plain and simple. I would go with what I feel is morally right. I would listen to everybody and try to get a happy medium with everybody. But at the end of the day, I feel as though you need to do what's morally right for you and the better of the town you serve.
First off, I would say if the large majority of the people were against my own personal views, I think first I would ask myself, why do they differ? Is there something that I don't know, or is there something that they don't know? Do I need education, or do they need education? There is an area where there is true moral concern. I do like that idea, and I think if I had a personal preference not to bake somebody a cake, well, I wouldn't do that. Situation is you are able to step away and actually not vote on a matter if it's truly against your moral values. I don't know if that would truly come to the table. I don't know if that's realistic. But I think it really comes down to the education portion. And I think my personal wants for the city are probably consistent with the vast majority. So that's really it. I think the education portion.
It's kind of a tough one, but the fact of the matter is somebody votes you in office and you got a majority of the people, and you might feel like you need to vote the other way, but you need to listen to the people that put you in office. Yeah, you're going to have 6, 7 members sitting up there in council, but they're not the smartest people in Pickens. Not calling anybody anything derogatory. They're smart people in the community, okay? Maybe we know what's right. Maybe they don't know what's right. We don't want annexation, okay? We want a balanced budget, okay? We hearing smokes and what am I trying to say? Smoke and screams from Tuesday night. If y'all watch the meeting, that's what's going on. Morally, good point. Strip bar beside the courthouse up there? No, I vote no. I vote no. So morals do play a role. But you got to listen to the people who put you in office. My wife, my sister, my mama, bless her soul, she died a couple years ago. If they influenced my vote, and they probably would, but I would do what the citizens voted me in office to do. And we've got a lot, the last couple of years, not just this council here, okay? This is a new council. 2 years ago, we decided to vote everybody out, put everybody new in. Well, look what's happened. A couple of them are making some good sense, but a couple of them are not. We don't have any unity on council. We just don't have it. It's going to take somebody in there, and it might not be me. And I wish all these guys the best of luck. I think every one of them is qualified to do what y'all want them to do. I'm an old man. I don't know if I need, ooh, well, I'm glad I didn't have to finish that one.
How I would handle a decision where my personal views differ. So for me, again, it would boil down to what are my morals and values. I believe that a lot of people in this country need to get back to their morals and values and what they stand for and stand strong in it. But like Jeff was saying, if we wanted to put in a strip club, the community did, I would have to vote no to that because that goes against my morals. All these vape shops that we see popping up around here goes against my morals. Not for that. And so I would probably educate the community on the dangers of those vape shops and all of those synthetic drugs that are in all of those gummies and vapes. And I guess that, Jonathan summed it up well. Danny summed it up well. Even Jeff. So I agree with them. That's how I would handle that. But also community voice. So even if we differ, I am still able to talk to you instead of your voice falling on flatness. Because do you know how many emails I have sent to council and no one responds? Do you know that Floyd is about the only person that responds to me? Occasionally Cameron has. If Allie responds to me, it's mean and nasty and not nice at all. So I think that there's a real issue with having a different opinion right now as council and how they treat you if you do.
So I hate to do this, but can you repeat the question one more time?
Not a problem at all. I probably would have phrased it a little different to begin with. Here, listen to you guys. How do you handle situations where your personal views differ from the majority of the residents? And I would have added before, do you have a moral obligation to represent the will of the people?
So I think that that question is pretty simple. I was elected to serve the people and serve the city. It's a business. It's our personal stuff. Never should really come into where you're running a business, basically. And I've been in business long enough to know that you have to leave personal stuff aside sometimes and just take care of business. So that is my answer to that question. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. I think you've all answered the questions well tonight. I think everybody answered the questions, and I think you answered my opinion. But I didn't hear any obfuscation up here. I heard answers to the questions. To be commended. Now is closing remarks. We'll start with Yusuf, and I would a friendly suggestion: make sure you put your what? I'm sorry. He had the last question. We started on this. That's what I said. We came all the way down the table, and we're back to Houston.
You can start first.
What I was going to say before you start, I have one friendly suggestion. Make sure you get your name in there, probably at the end, so that people do know your name. So when they go to the poll to vote, minute 30. A minute 30 for closing remarks. Kick it off, buddy.
Thank you. Well, first I want to thank everybody for coming out and hearing what we all have to say. I think it's important that we all make an informed decision when we go out and cast our votes. As somebody who, again, was immersed in the business world, I look to try to bring that, background into council and hopefully contribute to business growth here in Pickens. Also look to have a plan for growth, even, beyond just growth for business, but growth in population and growth in our revenue as well. So as somebody who also wants to maintain transparency and continue speaking to everybody and hearing their thoughts on what they would like to see in the city, through our comprehensive plan and door knocking and so on and so forth. I would like to hear everybody else's vision, because it's a collective vision. It's not just my vision. And my vision and my ideas come from and they derive from conversations I've had with my constituents for the most part. So with that being said, I'd love your vote on November 4th. My name is Yusuf Kobach, and again, I'm 24 years old, and I'm looking to provide a fresh perspective. So if you allow me to do that, it would be an honor. Thank you. Have a God bless night.
I'm Danny Adams. I appreciate your support on November the 4th and the opportunity to come back and serve. I like to think that I can leave it better than it was when I got there and make a difference for the whole community and the whole town. Danny Adams, I appreciate your support.
My name is Jonathan Baker. A lot of you know me as Baldo. Yeah, it'll be on the ballot. So I do currently want to thank a few individuals. First off, individuals like Pat Mulkey and Joanne Brewer for their questions and regularly being involved in the community. There are a lot of other individuals, and we really need more people to come up and be involved in these meetings and in the community and voice your opinion. And a lot of people, have concerns with, with retaliation or whatever be the case. I don't believe that's a true problem when you come up and voice your opinions or your concerns. I do want to let you know sort of what I'm standing on is I want to be a voice for all the citizens. I want to preserve the heritage while guiding growth. I want to work on a responsible, budget. Definitely infrastructure that works. And leadership means accountability. And we want to get those barriers down and those businesses up. That's what we want here. If you see me on the street, you'll probably see me out there working in the yard or something, over there by the Colonial House. Feel free to stop by, say hello, ask me a few questions. My phone number's everywhere. Y'all have a great day.
I'm Jeff Derrick. One of the main reasons I'm running for council is I'm really concerned. Y'all heard me say this all night long about the budget. I'm concerned about the overspending. I think these departments need to look at themselves and start cutting back a little bit because they can. They really can. I think too, a really important question was the fact, what do you do if you have a conflict with your own thoughts versus what the people want you to do? Well, maybe I'm out here on my own with this opinion, but I believe the people, they know more than any council member does because they talk to people on the street, their neighbors, that council members don't talk to. I've never seen a council member walking down Main Street. Never have. Now, I'm not up there every minute of the day. Yeah, Beach, I've seen you on Main Street. That's your job, though. But yeah, I pray and hope I get your vote. If not, there's some great guys and gals up here that are also deserving. I owe Pat Mulkey an apology. I'm not going to say why, but I wanted to publicly apologize to Pat. He knows why. I know why. Maybe some of y'all know why. But I wanted to extend an apology to him. If I make a mistake, I'm not afraid to tell anybody I made a mistake. Pat, I made a mistake. Thank you.
Well, again, I'm Jessica Merrill, and I would appreciate your vote. I am running because, like I said, planned progress, community voice, and financial stewardship, and we've been through those tonight. So if you feel like you align with what I said, then definitely come vote for me. I'm not going to drag it out. And so, that's really all I want to say. I appreciate it. If you vote for me, I will work hard for you. I will always be able to listen to you and even if we do not agree. Thank you.
So I'm Cameron Rivers, currently on the council and also current mayor pro tem. I really thought hard about running for re-election at one time. I came in this adventure 2 years ago, and it's been very tough. We've been probably through the two worst controversial stuff that's been in Pickett for a while, and I just got through in the middle of that stuff. So, saying all that, I've learned, I've got a lot to bring just from experience, because I've been there and done that, and I'm still going to do it. You know, I'm very hands-on and very open-minded. So, I really would appreciate your support. Thanks.
My name is John McManus. I'm running for city council in the city of Pickens. Just so you know, I'm running for a 4-year term. I've been serving a 1-year term. Just enough time for y'all to figure out who I am, what I'm about. Now you have an opportunity to vote me in for a 4-year, a full complete term, to actually get up to speed, start doing work of the city, and of council, and of the citizens of the city. Let me just say a few more things here. Now, I understand that there have been basically 2 issues here in the city that are driving everybody crazy. We had the water issue. I took a stand on that. I didn't have to vote on whether we were going to go with, Greenville Water. I just had to vote on the contract, and we analyzed it and tried to get the best deal we could. That hard decision was made by others. Dealt with the annexation. I didn't start that conversation, but I stepped into it, and I'm trying to finish it. It's work that has to be done. I think I need more time. Another 4 years is necessary as far as I'm concerned. And I think if Councilman Rogers doesn't kill me along the way, I'll make it to the end of 4 years. But I know he's got his fangs out for me. Listen, I've got a lot going on. Everybody does, but yeah, I understand the budget's the issue. We're going to do it. Thank you.
Thank all of you. Couple of notes before we say goodnight. One, Rachel, Fox, Carolina. Thank you for coming out tonight. Give Rachel a round of applause. 1 week from tonight, we will be at Mutts on Pattersville Road hosting a town hall for Republican Attorney General candidate David Stumpo. Mutts is being real generous and letting us use their facility, and they are offering $10 meals to everybody who comes to the event. So come out and see us, and that's about half price. I think normally it's about $17, $18. So come out and enjoy a Mutts meal for about half, and size up the guy who wants to be the top law enforcement officer in South Carolina. So when you go to the polls, you'll have more than a mailer in your mailbox to base your decision off of. And I'll close with this. That's the reason we're here tonight. Our mission with the Pickens County Republican Club is to fight apathy and to inform voters. We don't endorse anybody, ever. What we do is give candidates a platform to present you with their message and their platform, so you can make an informed decision as to who you want representing you. So give yourselves a round of applause for being here tonight and participating in the American process, political process. So good night. Come back to see us again. Oh, and follow us on Pickens County Republican Club on Facebook.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Okay, yeah. We'll give her a minute. I read something funny today about Abraham Lincoln. He went out to go for a ride on his horse. And when he started to get on the horse started jumping around and got his hind foot hung in the stirrup. Lincoln looked at the horse and said, "If you getting on, I'm getting off." Walked back around. I thought it was funny. We got a good looking crowd here tonight. Thank you all for coming out. You know, you don't have to sit in the back. You don't have to be a backbencher. You can come up to the front. And so you know, the microphone to ask questions is right here at the bottom of the steps leading up to the stage. So when we get to the questions from the audience, if you just walk up to the